Jack Harper had never meant to be anywhere important. In fact, the last thing he expected when stepping into the glittering diplomatic hall of the Aelorian Empire was to sit at the wrong table. But Jack had always been more comfortable under the hood of a star freighter than under the polished chandeliers of interstellar royalty. Clutching his grease-stained overalls and a plate of cold rations, he wandered through the throng of alien dignitaries until an empty chair beckoned him at a table covered in shimmering fabric. Without hesitation, he sat down. It was only after he took a sip of the bitter ceremonial drink that he realized the table wasn't just any table. It was the one reserved for the Emperor himself. And across from him, reclining on a raised platform, was a young woman whose presence radiated quiet authority despite her frailty. Her legs, wrapped in translucent braces of crystalline alloy, were motionless, yet her violet eyes scanned the room with a sharpness that could cut through the thickest of diplomatic smoke. Jack began, coughing nervously, but the girl didn't flinch. "You are unexpected," she said, her voice calm but commanding, like a machine carefully tuned to human emotion. "Yet you seem unafraid." Jack scratched the back of his neck. "Guess I've never been good at reading the room," he admitted. He tried to stand, but she lifted a hand, stopping him gently yet firmly. "Sit. I find that honesty is refreshing." Jack sat, and so began the strangest conversation of his life. Her name was Liora, the Emperor's only daughter, confined to her crystalline exoskeleton after an accident that had frozen her body but not her mind. She was brilliant, versed in alien politics, technology, and strategy, yet barred from the outside world by her condition. Jack, by contrast, was a lowly mechanic from a mining colony on the outer rim of human space, an unremarkable cog in a galaxy that usually overlooked Earthborn engineers like him. But Liora had a spark of curiosity that drew her to him. "Why do humans continue to tinker when it is clear that many machines fail?" she asked. Jack shrugged. "Because sometimes things that fail aren't broken. They're just waiting for someone who cares enough to fix them. That's the fun part." Liora tilted her head. "You speak as though machines have worth beyond their function." "They do," Jack said simply. "Everything has worth if someone believes in it, even people, even princesses." He immediately regretted the last word, but Liora smiled faintly, and the corners of her eyes crinkled in amusement. For the next few hours, Jack found himself swept into discussions that most diplomats wouldn't dare enter. Liora asked about engines, spacecraft hydraulics, and the peculiarities of human engineering. Jack explained, sometimes fumbling with terms, but with a passion that seemed to reach her in ways words alone couldn't. At one point she leaned forward, the light catching the delicate circuitry of her braces. "I have been trapped in this chair for 10 cycles. I have books, holovids, even immersive simulations, but none of them show the reality of life outside my room. Yet you describe it as if you've lived in the chaos and beauty of it all." Jack felt a pang of humility. "I'm just a guy who fixes things, Princess. But yeah, sometimes the chaos is worth it. Even the mistakes." "Even mistakes," she repeated. She paused, then asked softly, "Could you show me?" Jack blinked. "Show you?" "Outside. The halls, the gardens, the skies. I cannot walk, yet I wish to see the world as it truly is. Could you take me there?" He hesitated. The court was watching. The Emperor's advisors would never forgive this. Yet Jack saw a flicker in her eyes that no law or protocol could deny. She was human at her core, yearning to taste freedom even when her body refused it. "I think I can try," he said finally, a grin tugging at his lips. "I may have to break a few rules." Over the next week, Jack became Leora's clandestine guide to a world she had been denied. Using mechanical ingenuity, a modified hover chair, and sheer determination, they navigated the palace gardens, floated above the luminous alien fountains, and even climbed to the observation deck where the twin sons of Aloria painted the skies in gold and violet. Leora's laughter, once a rare sound in the court, echoed freely now, and Jack felt a warmth he had never expected from royalty. But their freedom came at a cost. Rumors of a mechanic aiding the princess reached the emperor. Jack braced for confrontation, expecting anger, imprisonment, maybe exile. Yet when the emperor arrived, he found his daughter not hiding in fear, but radiant with joy. "My father," Leora said, her voice steady, "I have seen your world through the eyes of one who understands its imperfections. And I have learned that freedom, even when imperfect, is infinitely more valuable than safety behind walls." The emperor studied Jack, expecting humility, but found resolve instead. "You took risks for her," he said. Jack shrugged. "I just wanted her to see the world the way it is. Worth a few rules, I guess." The emperor's gaze softened, a rare smile crossing his face. "Perhaps humanity has lessons for even the most disciplined of us." In the weeks that followed, Jack became more than a mere mechanic in the emperor's court. He became a bridge between worlds, a reminder that courage, ingenuity, and heart could defy hierarchy, expectation, and even the harshest laws of protocol. Leora, in turn, began advocating for reforms in the empire, proving that limitations of the body could never contain the brilliance of the mind. By the time Jack returned to his ship to continue his humble work among human colonies, he carried with him not only tools and spare parts, but a memory that would fuel stories for the rest of his life, of a paralyzed princess who demanded to see the stars, and the mechanic who dared to sit at the wrong table, and in doing so, changed a galaxy. Jack Harper would never forget the day he accidentally met royalty, and the galaxy, somehow, would never forget the laughter that floated above its crystal halls.